What is up, Tube users? I am the Stereotypical Gamer, and welcome back to another fantastically fun games for under $15. Today, we are talking about one of my favorite games of all time and a fantastically fun first-person roguelike shooter, Gunfire Reborn. I think my two favorite video game genres ever are roguelites and first person shooters. I like other ones, but those are like the two main ones that most of my favorite games fall into those two categories. And Gunfire Reborn blends both of those in this perfect harmony of just great first person shooting mechanics combined with great roguelike mechanics to make this excellent game that just has endless replayability and just an endless amount of fun to it. But let's talk about each of those genres and see why this game just does such a good job of just creating a masterpiece in both aspects. And let's talk about the first person shooting, which is a majority of the game, right? I mean, basically the entire premise of the game is to go through, melt everything, get to the final boss, and hooray, you win, right? But the gunplay feels super smooth, and like each gun feels totally unique, and just there's some weapons in this game that I've literally never seen before. One of my favorite weapons in this game is a literal brick that you just huck at enemies, and it is so fun and so unique. There's just so many different variants of weapons, and the different perks or abilities you can get on weapons makes each one that you pick up totally unique in its own. You could get the same weapon in another run or just later on in your run, but it has different perks and different rules, so it just plays differently altogether. And that's what I think is really unique and what makes this game just fresh and exciting. You're never going to get the same gun twice. I mean, if you do, yeah, I mean, you might as well win a lottery ticket, because getting the same gun with the exact same rules is just nearly impossible, I think. And that's what I love about it, is just so much variety in weaponry, and combined with like perks you'll get from scrolls to enhance those different weapons, just really blends together for this really satisfying gunplay and gameplay. And then let's talk about the other perfection in this game, and that is the roguelike elements. We went over a little bit of the gunplay, but let's kind of dive deeper into that. So basically, every weapon in the game will have a certain number of, they're called inscriptions, but they're basically perks that enhance the weapon themselves. So some of them will be like, every time you get a kill, your gun automatically reloads, or increased elemental damage, or increased critical damage, stuff like that. And there can be like just one, or when you get later into levels, there'll be more of those. So it makes each of these guns super unique, and there's tiers to it. So green is kind of like the worst, but there's still some really good green perks. Blue's your next tier, and then gold are exclusive encryptions that I think can only have 2 or 3 on a gun, and they're like the most powerful, and they're unique to that weapon. I don't think there's some that share between weapons, but most of the time the gold inscriptions are unique to them, and that makes it feel really cool because there's multiple ones for each weapon, and it just makes the guns feel so unique and so fun to play. And then along with that, you'll find scrolls that just kind of enhance your damage all around, like based on your abilities or based on your weapons, just a bunch of different ones. I think I want to say there's close to 500 scrolls. There's a lot of different scrolls, different tiers, like blues your normal ones, then you have purples your legendary, and then gold being your best ones. And there's so many just combinations and unique combinations of scrolls that just meld together really well, and just, I mean, it makes it endlessly fun, just the different kind of builds that you can get, and it makes each run completely unique. You're never going to get the same run twice because of all of these different elements, which is really cool. And what really makes a great roguelite is just having that endless replayability and having it fun and unique each time. And Gunfire does that to absolute perfection. And then, if all of that wasn't unique enough, you have these different heroes that each have different abilities. You have a quick ability, which is usually a nade on most classes, and then you have like a super ability, which is a little bit more powerful, but there's nothing really crazy about these abilities. They're just kind of minute, but they do kind of give the characters their appeal, and you can upgrade their abilities, upgrade different parts of their kit and stuff. And each character does have a uniqueness to them. There's each character does like an excel at some sort of different weaponry or different type of perks for weapons and stuff like that, and that's really cool to just play through and just kind of create these unique builds that enhance with these heroes. Is really fun. Like Cat, the like main character, the crown prince of this game, he works really well with elemental weaponries, and the weapon that I'm using right now shoots both poison and fire alternating, which just kind of blends together for this melting of enemies really quickly and is really fun. But then you have like other heroes like the dog hero. I forget the names of them. They all have really unique names, but the dog is really good with explosive weaponries and can dual wield like two different explosive weapons, and just works like all of his perks kind of just geared towards explosions, which is really cool. And each hero has that uniqueness to them and how they play with different weapons. It's just everything just blends together to make this a really fun and intriguing game. So I can go in and be like, I don't have to think of a hero. I can think of like a weapon style that I want to play and go pick a hero that works together with that. Try and get perks and stuff that blend together with all of that and just have a fun time with it. So it's really cool to just have all of these things meld together and just be completely unique and not like really think about how they will blend together, but seeing it in action and seeing everything work together the way that it is and just melting enemies is unbelievably satisfying. And the biggest thing with a roguelite is that feeling of progression, and you really do feel it through the level. You get these higher tiered weapons, you get better scrolls, you get everything upgraded, and you feel more powerful, but then you finally get taken out by an enemy that you weren't expecting, or just kind of got overwhelmed or something like that, couldn't take out the boss in time, and you lose the run. But then you get to the end screen and you have this new perk system that basically allows you to enhance your character throughout all your runs, which is really cool to have this like leveling system that, I mean, it does make a huge difference comparatively. And it's really cool to see that progression. Like, I remember when I first started out, I didn't beat the first boss until I was like level 50, I want to say, and then the second boss, it was probably to level 100, and then the third boss was around like max level. I finally beat it and got to move on. And then once you finally beat it, the end boss, you unlock the next tier of difficulty, which is Nightmare. Then I want to say there's another one, and then after you beat that other one, you get Reincarnation mode, and I feel like that's where the game really starts. Reincarnation just changes the game entirely and makes it more fun. You get these different perks that you use, your soul shards, what you were using to get your talent points originally. Now you use as a currency to buy things in the game that are enhanced, like enhanced perks, enhanced scrolls, enhanced weapons. It really makes it feel like an entirely different game you're playing, and is just extremely fun. And I just can't recommend Reincarnation mode enough, because usually you think of these higher tier difficulties as being super difficult and a real challenge to overcome. And yes, it is a challenge, but honestly, I think that the Nightmare difficulty, the one right before Reincarnation, is a lot harder, because once you hit Reincarnation level 1, it's a game changer. It's a huge power surge, and it's not like the enemies get that much harder, so it's pretty crazy to see that power trip, and it really feels like you're playing endgame at that point, which is so enjoyable. And honestly, I have nothing but great things to say about this game, but there's one thing that really irks me about this game, and it's the one bad thing I will say, is I really wish that the inspect key, so you can inspect different weapons when you look at them, just compare them to what you have on to see if it's better or not, is the same button to discard it. And I just really wish there was a way to bind those keys separate. So you have to hold down the button in order to discard it or press it to inspect it. And I just really, because there's challenges to beat it fast, and that extra second of discarding a weapon just kills my run sometimes. Like I had like just over 30-minute run, and it was because I discarded some weapons, and I didn't get sub 30 minutes, which was a little bit unfortunate. I mean, other than that, I feel like this game is absolutely perfect. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like if you did, comment, subscribe, and go check out Gunfire Reborn. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.